Today we are ranking MMA fighters based on how I believe they would perform in a spelling bee. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guide with many YouTube channels. So you guys know how it works with the tier list. We have S all the way down to F tier, and of course we are starting off with Nathan Diaz. Guys, Nate Diaz is... I don't know how many people are going to end up in the F tier, man, but Nate Diaz is absolutely going to go into the F tier. Like, you've seen this dude speak. He can't really put a sentence together, especially at this point in his career. He is absolutely going into the F tier. Now, Diego Sanchez is one of those guys that's kind of like a little bit neutral. He's certainly capable of spelling, but once you get into like, I would imagine like intermediate stuff, he'd do okay. I don't know. C is going to be kind of like the neutral level, and B, A, and S I would imagine are doing good. So I'm going to put Diego Sanchez into the C. Jamal Hill, I'm actually not too sure of. I don't know. There's a few guys in here that I'm probably going to say the same thing about. But Jamal Hill's probably a little bit more capable than Diego Sanchez. I think he'll do okay. So we're going to throw him into the B tier, okay? Aljamain Sterling. I believe Aljamain Sterling would actually be very good at a spelling bee. I've heard him speak. He's good. He uses some... And when we're talking about spelling bee, I don't want to say he's good with his words. I want to say he uses, like, educated language. But I don't want to even like... sound like a little D-bag, you know what I mean? So I'm actually going to throw Aljamain Sterling into the A tier. I think he'd do pretty well. Issue with some of these fighters and English not being their first language, so Alexander Rakic is going to go into the D tier. Is Alexa Grasso? No, English isn't her first language either, right? I'm going to put her into the C tier, okay? Alexander Volkanovski. There's a lot of guys where I'm sitting back and I'm kind of like, how's this going to actually go? I would imagine Volk can spell. He could probably spell. And it's important to note, guys, if somebody ends up in a C tier, that doesn't mean that they would fail the spelling bee or anything. It's just like in comparison to all of these other guys. C is kind of like neutral. You would do like what you need to do. B is where you would actually start performing. And that's where I'm actually going to throw Alexander Volkanovski. I'm going to put him into the B tier ahead of Jamal Hill. Alexandre Pantoja doesn't necessarily speak, well, I mean, speaks English, but not all that well. But the problem is, like, just because you don't speak English as your first language doesn't mean that you would not perform at a spelling bee. But I can't imagine that somebody who speaks English as a second language would perform to the level of somebody at the C tier. I'm going to throw Alexandre Pantoja into the D tier for that reason, okay? Alex Caceres. I don't know. Won't Alex Caceres do well in a spelling bee? I think he'd do okay. I'm going to put him into the C tier, top of C tier. Alex Morono. I've heard this guy speak. He can speak. I'm going to put him into the A tier. I'm going to put him right behind Aljamain Sterling. Amanda Hebos. English not the first language. D tier. Arnold Allen. He's probably capable. He's got to be capable. Bottom of D tier. Or C, excuse me, not D tier. B tier. Excuse me. Bilal Muhammad. I think this is C tier. He's just like would be your typical neutral guy. Can spell what you need him to spell. But once it starts getting to a competition, I would imagine that he would fall off just a tad. Okay, I'm going to put him right behind. No, I'm going to put him right in front of Bruce Leroy. Joseph Benavidez. You know Joseph Benavidez? He's probably the type of kid to go up into the spelling bee and like accidentally spell a word wrong and then throw a little fit and like make sure that the entire school knows that he is capable of spelling those words. Like, spell chair, Joseph Benavidez, and he clearly knows how to spell chair, but he goes C-H-A-A-I-R-E, like, and it says something like that, and they're like, that's incorrect, and he's the type of kid to like go around the entire school again just spelling chair to everybody. Like, I knew that word, you know? I knew that word. I don't know why I just said all that, but Joseph Benavidez is going to go to the bottom of B tier, okay? Benil Dariush, smart guy. Is anybody going to go into the S tier here? Like, is there anybody here that I would see and I'd go, okay, you would absolutely perfect a spelling bee? I'm not so sure, but regardless, Benil Dariush would do well. I'm going to put him right in front of Alex Morono, okay? Benoit Saint-Denis, he's French, D tier, okay? Billy Quarantillo, I actually don't know too much about Billy Quarantillo, and I pay attention to a lot of UFC fighters, so I'm going to put him into the C tier, okay? Bobby Green, this dude can't speak at all. He's almost like, is he at Nate Diaz level? Holy. Oh my god. Do I want to add another tier for fighters who don't really speak English though? That might be, because these are the just, yeah, you know what? I'm going to pause the video for a second. There we go. We just added another tier, that being NA for fighters who don't have English as their first language. That's what we're going to roll, okay? And then we're going to put Bobby Green into the D tier, because that's when you're going to start performing poor in the spelling bee. And I just think that Bobby Green would be a little bit more capable than Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz just wouldn't be able to do anything at all, okay? Bo Nickel. He strikes me as fairly educated, but again, I don't know too much about Bo Nickel. I would imagine he'd do well. I'm going to put him into the top of B tier, okay? Kyle Braujo. Now, I know that Kyle Braujo, was it a teacher that he was going to be? I know that Kyle Braujo is actually educated, and he speaks English pretty well nowadays, but at the same time, do I want to, you know what? I think he speaks English well enough. Nah, then I can put him in the C tier. I'm going to put him in the C tier, okay? Brandon Moreno. Yeah. C tier. Bottom of C tier, okay? Brian Ortega. Ooh. There's a lot of guys here that are kind of making me pause. Brian Ortega. I feel like he wouldn't be able to spell all that well. Every time I like look at Brian Ortega, I just think of bedtime MMA. I'm glad you asked. But of course, like, and I know I keep saying this, but I am not good at impressions at all. It's just like what I think about whenever I hear Brian Ortega's name. I'm actually going to put Brian Ortega. But the problem with this is, no, okay. Bobby Green is going to go down to the Nate Diaz tier. The Nate Diaz tier. Because but he's not comparable to Brian Ortega, but I think Brian Ortega would spell worse than all these guys here, okay? Matt Brown. Bottom of C tier, okay? Bottom of C tier. Brian Battle, absolutely not. There's no way. If it's not spell, you know what I mean, then I don't think he's spelling it. Brian Battle's gonna go into the D tier, okay? Bryce Mitchell. He kind of has that hillbilly accent, right? But that doesn't mean it. But it also doesn't mean that people are dumb, okay? I don't know. I don't imagine Bryce Mitchell cares too much about spelling. I'm going to put him at the bottom of C tier too. Patty Pimlet, C tier. He's probably okay at it. Where am I going to throw Patty Pimlet ahead of all these guys? Okay, yeah, I'm going to put Patty ahead of Bilal Muhammad. Calvin Cater's an interesting one. Okay, where am I going to throw Calvin Cater? We're going to have a lot of people in the C tier probably, guys, eh? We're probably going to have a lot of people in the C tier. He strikes me as an okay guy. I'm going to put him into the B tier. I'm going to put him right in front of Jamal Hill. Charles Jourdain. I know he speaks French, but he does speak English okay. I just like, I want to cut these guys some slack, so I'm going to put him into the C tier either way. I'm going to stop organizing the C tier, to be honest with you guys, because we're going to have a lot of guys there. Charles Oliveira, not first language. Chris Weidman, he could probably spell, but I would imagine that he's gaining a little bit of CTE. Maybe that would hurt him a little bit in the spelling bee era. So I'm going to put Chris Weidman into the C tier as well. I'm going to like put them kind of towards the top, towards the bottom. He'd probably do okay in the C tier, okay? Clay Guida. I'm trying to think. Clay Guida speaks okay. But Clay Guida just strikes me as a guy, and I'm a big fan of Clay Guida, guys. It's important to note. He just strikes me as a guy who wouldn't perform at a spelling bee. I don't know why, but I like Clay Guida. I listen to him talk. He's very capable of talking, so he's going to go into the C tier, okay? Cody Garbrandt. Flat out D tier. There's no way. There's no way. Dude, he'd literally be that kid in the spelling bee like he was with Dominic Cruz. Spell monitor. Yeah, you spell monitor. I'm not spelling monitor. You spell monitor. And then he would just fail. Actually, for that reason, Cody Garbrandt's going to the F tier, okay? Colby Covington. He can spell. He can. People like to talk about Colby Covington being dumb, but he's not dumb. I don't see him being like majorly intelligent, don't get me wrong. If he's in a spelling bee, then again, Colby might be up there and it's like, spell phone. P-A-H-H-H-H-H, and just stutter. Yeah. Spelling he. He'd probably do something like that. I know sometimes I do that in my videos, but yeah, you know what? Colby just got bumped down to the C tier for that reason, okay? Corey Sandhagen. I imagine him being able to spell. I imagine him okay with doing it. I'm going to put Corey Sandhagen B tier or A tier. He's going to go into the A tier. I'm going to put him right behind Aljamain Sterling. Cub Swanson. Cub Swanson is a very, very intelligent guy as well. He can spell. He's going to go into the A tier as well. I'm going to put him right behind Alex Morono. Dan Hooker, I don't imagine doing well. I just don't. I imagine him laughing and not participating in the spelling bee. Okay? He's going to go into the D tier right in front of Brian Ortega. Davison Figueiredo, NA. Derek Lewis, D tier as well. This dude probably can't spell. He probably wouldn't care and probably wouldn't want to. So he's going to go right behind Brian Ortega. Drew Dober. He could probably spell. He's going to go into the B tier. We're going to throw him into the B tier. We're going to put him right in front of Calvin Cater. Dominic Cruz would do well. Dominic Cruz would be the guy to study just so he can win the spelling bee. They would give out like a little medal when we were kids, right? And it would mean absolutely nothing. But Dominic Cruz would want that medal so bad that he would actually stay up studying to get it. Oh my God. Guys, I actually kind of want to throw Dominic Cruz into the S tier. I actually do, because I think he would do better than all these guys. He's petty enough to study to be the best. And he can probably already spell, to be honest with you. I'm going to put Dominic Cruz in the S tier, and I hope that I don't hear about that in the comment section down below. What do you guys think, by the way? Don't forget, if you're enjoying the content, by the way, please hit like and subscribe to the channel. Your time means a lot to me. Thank you so much for being here, by the way. Let's continue on to Dominic Reyes. Unsure. C tier. Dustin Poirier, I know that he was either a grade school dropout or an early high school dropout, so I don't imagine him doing well. But the problem is, I know he dropped out of school as a kid, but he strikes me as like a guy who's not stupid. He seems like a well put together guy. I'm going to put him in the C tier. C tier for Dustin Poirier. Tony Ferguson can't spell. No chance, especially the CTE now. No. It's spell triangle or spell elbow and spell I can't retire. Something along those lines. That wasn't funny. I was kind of trying to be funny, but it didn't hit, right? He's going to go into the D tier right behind Dan Hooker, okay? Frank Mir can probably spell, I would imagine. Low B tier for Frank Mir. GM3. I have no idea. I just know I like GM3. C tier. Same with Gilbert Melendez. A little bit lower on the C tier, okay? Gilbert Burns, no English. Jillian Robertson. C tier probably as well. Glover Teixeira, not English. Henry Cejudo. C tier. Lots of C tiers. Max Holloway, man. As much as I love Max Holloway. This dude's failing a spelling bee. No chance. Oh, man. I don't want to put Max Holloway into the F tier. I don't want to. I just can't see it. I can't see it, man. He's going to go into the F tier. Right behind Cody Garbrandt. Okay. Holly Holm. She could probably spell. I'm going to put her right behind Bo Nickel over here. Aylin Perez. What nationality is she? Regardless, she'd probably just get up there and twerk on the microphone or something. D tier for Aylin Perez. No. For some reason, I don't think she speaks English. I could be wrong about that, but she's going to get some grace over in the NA, okay? Leon Edwards. He'd stutter like Colby. They both can go into the 7th layer of hair, okay? Leon Edwards probably... I don't know. He doesn't speak all that well, right? Leon Edwards is going to go into the D tier right behind Dan Hooker, okay? John Jones. You know, actually, I can actually see John Jones spelling. John Jones is the guy to write the tough words on his arm. Yeah, could you imagine John Jones up there doing something slimy like that? Just, it's really dark in the room, and he's like, okay, so John, your word is going to be tier maker. Well, first of all, I just want to thank you all for coming, and it means a lot to me, and I just want to say that God is good. Tier maker. Tiermaker. Tier maker, guys, I really, really appreciate you letting me up here. Thank you very much, everybody. God bless. Hallelujah. Something like that, you know, like when he starts singing the Hallelujah, my Lord. John Jones would find a way to cheat, and John Jones would win. He's going to go into the B tier. I have no doubt in my mind that he would actually cheat in a spelling bee. He's that slimy. Okay. I'm going to put John Jones. But, like, all jokes aside, I actually think that John Jones, I get the vibe that he can spell. Not like anything significant, but I think he would do okay. He's going to go into the B tier. I'm going to put him right in front of Alexander Volkanovski, okay? Islam Makhachev, not English. Jim Miller, C tier. English. Joaquin Buckley's an interesting one. I would imagine he's like on the lower level of C tier. Gamebred? No. No way. There's no way this dude can spell. This dude would refuse to be wrong. Like, it's spelled deck. He'd be D-E-K. Deck. And then they would tell him, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. And Gamebred would just try to fight him. I swear to God that would happen. I wholeheartedly believe that, okay? So, Gamebred's going to go into the D tier. He's going to go right in front of his best friend, Leon Rocky Edwards. Joe Pfeiffer. Imagine telling him he's out. Holy. I don't see him being a good speller, though. I don't. He can get past the bare minimum, though, so he's going to go to the bottom of C tier, okay? Justin Gaethje can't spell either. This dude's taking so much brain damage nowadays as well. Like, yeah, no, I doubt it. He'd probably just laugh. Like, kind of like Dan Hooker, actually. He's going to go straight there with Dan Hooker, okay? Kamaru Usman, I actually think would do well. Kamaru Usman's well-spoken. I listen to his podcast. Kamaru Usman, like, I know sometimes he would like act all cool doing it. Like, that's one thing that I don't really like about Usman. He tries to sound like so sick when he talks, right? Hey, spell, I don't know, like spell tab. You like, I'm trying to look at anything around me, right? He'd be like T-A-B tab. Like, Kamaru Usman would do that, but he would get it right. So I'm actually going to put Kamaru Usman low A tier, excuse me. Kevin Holland, he could probably get past whatever. C tier. Khalil Roundtree, I actually think would do pretty well. I just do. Just the vibe I get from him. Low A tier for him as well. I'm going to put him right ahead of Cub Swanson, okay? Hamza Chimaev, English. Who is this? Is that Rockhold? I think it's Luke Rockhold. That's got to be Luke Rockhold. I'm almost sure it is. Regardless, Luke Rockhold can probably... He's barely making the C tier. Barely making the cut. Marvin Vittori? Nope. Nope. But does he speak Italian for his first language? He might be able to get away with it. So I'm going to put him into the NA, okay? Conor McGregor. Is this Conor McGregor now? Because Conor McGregor now doesn't exactly know what's going on. Conor McGregor's always high. Conor McGregor's blowing, like, out of his mind. Like, he's doing some wild stuff nowadays. But if it's prime Conor McGregor was an intelligent man. So we're going to throw him into the C tier, okay? Michael Bisping. This one I'm not too sure of. I'm going to put Michael Bisping high C tier, okay? Michael Chiesa, little bit more of the same. I would imagine he'd do okay. So I'm going to throw Michael Chiesa into the B tier. He could probably do what you need him to do, a little bit more. I'm going to put him in front, right behind Cater. That works too. Mike Malott, C tier. Stipe Miocic, no way, absolutely not. Oh, same with Nick Diaz over here too. Stipe is going to go right in front of Dan Hooker here, and Nick Diaz. Oh, Nick Diaz is going into the Nate Diaz tier. Yeah, there's no way Nick can spell, but Nick would do better than Nate. If it's not spell fuck, like, he probably wouldn't be able to spell it. Well, he's going to go into the F tier as well, but he's way smarter than Nate is. You know what? Yeah, hang on. Nate Diaz has just gained his own tier. Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz, there we go. He's got his own tier down there. Robert Whittaker. He could probably spell. I imagine him being able to spell. He seems like a really, really smart guy. I'm going to put Robert Whittaker over into the A tier. I'm going to put him right behind Beneil Dariush, okay? Ronda Rousey, as much as we make fun of Ronda Rousey, I imagine her being able to spell as well. I'm going to put her high B tier. I'm going to put her right behind Volkanovski. Thug Rose Namajunas. I actually don't know if she's smart or dumb. I just know, like, she likes to play the piano and she can't make a day-to-day decision on whether or not she wants to fight. I don't know. She's going to go into the C tier. Israel Adesanya, bare minimum. Sean Strickland, I don't imagine him being able to spell. But I think he can spell more than these guys in this tier over here, okay? So Sean Strickland, low C tier. Dricus du Plessis is an interesting one, too. I don't know. Hey, Dricus, spell album. He'll spell it completely wrong and just gaslight you into it being correct. Could you imagine? Okay, Dricus is going to go into the B tier. I don't know where to put him in B tier. I'll put him with Rondo, okay? That's where we're going to throw him. Brendan Allen, no chance. He's going straight into the Dan Hooker tier. I would imagine he'd do better than the rest. No. I'm going to put him right behind Leon Edwards. Ian Gary, I imagine him being able to spell. He's going to go into the A tier. Where am I going to throw him? I'm going to throw him actually in front of... Yeah, I'm going to put him right in front of Robert Whittaker, okay? Michael Chandler, he's a meathead who can spell. I would say so. Michael Chandler is going to go into the A tier, but lower A tier. I'm going to put him right behind Khalil Roundtree. Sean O'Malley probably can spell. It's just I don't think he's like a super mate. I don't know. It depends on the day. Like, I'm going to put him in the high B tier. Sean O'Malley, high B tier. I'm going to put him right behind Bo Nickel. Cheeto Vera, low A tier. Low A tier. Oh, Chael's a good one. Chael's an intelligent guy. Oh, man. Do I want to put Chael into the S? I think he'd outperform a lot of these guys. Now, here's the question. Okay, I'm going to put Chael into the S tier. But would he do better than Dominic Cruz? I imagine he would. Chael is going to go into the S tier in front of Dominic Cruz. Steven Wonderboy Thompson, he could probably do pretty well too. I'm going to put him high B tier. I'm going to put him right behind Bo Nickel. GSP, intelligent guy. You ever hear this man speak? He can probably spell behind it. And the English is a second language too. Guys, GSP's going to the S tier. Do I put him in front of Chael? English is... he speaks perfect English. It comes out in a French accent, right? I'm going to put him at the bottom of S tier just because of the second language thing, but I could be wrong about that. And finally, we have Mr. Tom Aspinall, who's also going to go into the C tier, guys. That is the official tier list for how I believe UFC fighters would perform in a spelling bee, guys. The tier list content does not have to end, though, because we have another tier list right here for you guys. I would love to have you guys over there. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Take care.